the free agent frenzy does not stop because we continue to take a look at potential candidates for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who they might want to target. Today, we have a couple of pitchers. One you are probably very familiar with, and one maybe not so much.
Yeah, one you might have completely forgot that this man ever even played in Major League Baseball. And we'll start with that guy. It is one Erick Fedde. Everyone knows Erick Fedde.
Everybody knows
Eric.
the great Erick
Who
Fedde,
doesn't
of course,
know
from KBO,
Washington
right?
Nationals legend Erick Fedde. Erick Fedde was non-tendered last offseason, right around this time a year ago, by the Washington Nationals. And then he went and pitched in the KBO for a year, and he won the KBO equivalent of the Cy Young Award and went 20-6 with an ERA of 2. We have his full numbers for the season in the KBO. These are some pretty good numbers.
20-6 record, 2.00 ERA, 180.1 innings pitched, a 0.95 whip, Jesse. That's amazing. 10.4 strikeouts per 9 and 1.7 walks per 9. Those are some impressive numbers for he put up for my favorite KBO team, the Dinos. Let's go
Dinos.
Dinos.
Been a big Dinos
I'm a big
fan
Dinos fan. Absolutely.
That's Tucson's KBO team. I don't know if you knew that, Derek.
Oh, God damn it.
They train at High Corbett where the U of A plays.
Shut up. You're ruining it.
They do. Many times.
So these are KBO numbers, right? I want to make that clear. Could you imagine how much money Erick Fedde would be making if he put up these numbers in the majors last year? Oh my gosh,
that'd be ridiculous. Well, he does have Scott Boras for an agent, so maybe we'll get that
Scott
kind of
Boras
money
for an agent. And truth be told, that's how his name came on my radar for the show today. Scott Boras was asked at one point during his extremely long press conference that he did at the GM meetings today. He was asked, like, what's the interest like in Erick Fedde right now? And he said everyone is interested in Erick Fedde. I believe he said that he is the most popular free agent, which feels a little bit like hyperbole.
What?
But yeah, he said he's getting a lot of phone calls about Erick Fedde, and
he's the best. Scott Boras is the best. He's an incredible salesman. Jesse, he's an incredible salesman.
There's a reason that he's like the most influential sports agent of all time.
You guys all need to get your Erick Fedde now. It's going to sell out before the holidays, so make sure it's the hottest toy. Erick Fedde. I don't know about that, but those numbers are impressive. And again, we do know that the KBO is very competitive, so it's not to take anything away from that league. And we also know that he has been kind of called as, once again, known baseball GM Elise coined it, the next Merrill Kelly, because people have said, obviously, his time over there, he got better, and now he's coming back to the United States and could have that kind of season or that kind of career that we've seen Merrill have since he returned.
Yeah, and I mean, so these are KBO numbers, but like if you look at Merrill Kelly's KBO numbers, he never had a season like that.
No.
Merrill Kelly's lowest ERA in his 4 seasons pitching in the KBO was 3.60. He basically had an ERA between 3.60 and 4.13 every year that he pitched in the KBO. Erick Fedde going out there and putting up a 2 ERA with a lot of strikeouts. I think it's 10.4 Ks per 9, only 1.7 walks per 9. They're really impressive numbers across the board. And it would be one thing if Erick Fedde, had the season that he had last year with the Nationals, where he was not good at all, and then went over to the KBO and had a good season, but didn't really make any like tangible changes. It'd be like, all right, well, clearly the KBO, the level of competition there is not the same as the level of the competition in the majors. So maybe we don't read much into this. But there's an article on the Washington Post that kind of does a deep dive into Fedde and some of the changes that he made. And there are some pretty significant things here. He didn't really throw a changeup at all in his last season with the Nationals. Now he's throwing that pitch. It's revamped. He's throwing that pitch about a quarter of the time. He also throws a sweeper now, which of course everyone knows the moment you learn how to throw a sweeper, you become an elite dominant pitcher in baseball. Them's the rules, right?
That or a Robert Beshin's football slider.
Yeah, one of the two. One of the two.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
Stiff wrist, throw it like a football.
But yeah, there are some arsenal changes here, and some usage changes as well. So I think there are some teams that are going to be interested in Erick Fedde, and I would understand if we don't have any clear confirmation that the Diamondbacks are in on him, But it sort of makes sense as a guy that could very well come over in the same way that Merrill Kelly did and be a lot better than maybe some of the other free agent pitchers that are on the market that are a little bit more well-known.
Also, I will say this, that a lot of the free agent pitchers, as we've discussed, are most likely looking for a longer-term deal. But I imagine that Boras, Erick Fedde, and whatever teams offer up to him, they're going to not want to commit to a long-term deal with a guy coming over from the KBO like this until they see what he really has to offer, right? So I imagine that shorter-term deals are probably going to be offered and maybe a little bit more acceptable rather than maybe some of the other pitchers available on the market.
Yeah, I mean, MLB Trade Rumors doesn't even have Erick Fedde in their top, I think it's their top 50 free agents.
Wow.
So... yeah, I mean, you might need to give Jordan Montgomery $5 and $120 million. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually true. But yeah, you're not going to have to give Erick Fedde Jordan Montgomery money. Like, we know that. Right. Yeah, I mean, we talked earlier about how Mike Hazen wants someone who's, that you can count on. He's not looking for like a bounce back guy. This isn't really a bounce back situation with Fedde, but I guess it's someone who maybe you can't count on quite as much as you could the guys who actually pitched in the majors last year. But it's an interesting idea and someone that I think would cost substantially less than a lot of the other starting pitchers on the market.